It's Power Hour LSU.
Alrighty, let's freaking go. Lock in. It is time to get ready for by far the best team we have played on our schedule, Ole Miss. We start off with some breaking news here that Caden Durham will practice lightly this week, and we will see if he is going to be available for Ole Miss. Is someone like Juwan Johnson good enough for us to get us over the finish line versus the Rebels? Absolutely, because even though this Ole Miss defense played better this past weekend versus Tulane, I still think this is a defense with all of LSU's offensive struggles that they can exploit. So we'll talk to Blake Ruffino coming up in just a moment. And to me, something that he shared a little bit earlier, he has a partnership with FanDuel. Hey, FanDuel, my DMs are open. I had one of my best sports betting weekends in a very long time this past weekend. LSU is a 1.5 underdog versus Ole Miss. If you were to handicap this after the Syracuse game, you would probably see LSU as a slight favorite. So now a 1.5 underdogs. It's rare to see that when LSU is the number 3 ranked team in the country. I think the AP poll voters will keep LSU in the top 5. In fact, they already have. But for me, I think that is about right, knowing how good Ole Miss looked last weekend. So it's kind of shocking because LSU is undefeated. They do have that marquee victory. Ole Miss does not have a victory as good as LSU's at Clemson, but as we know, the Clemson victory isn't what we all expected it to be. Okay. So, for me, obviously, this past weekend had more to do with everyone else than it did us, right? Florida looked terrible. They still look great defensively. Their offense is atrocious. Syracuse's offense really lit up the Clemson Tigers, and the Clemson offense continues to sputter. I did not think this is why college football is the best thing to ever be created. That a young man from Ferris State named Trinidad Chambliss would be the best quarterback that we have faced up to this point in the season. He wasn't even supposed to start. And here we are, okay? The lefty, very talented player. Now, let's get into a deeper conversation between LSU and Southeastern. To me, putting together the film study, I put it together late last night. I want to once again, I need to quit doing this. I keep calling Josh Thompson Liam Shanahan because they wear the same jersey number, and they're both transfers from basically Ivy League institutions in the North. And, I want to apologize. I should call everyone by their correct name. It's just subjective. They play so similar. For me, it's tough to get over the LSU offensive line issues. But the truth is that this LSU offense got some stuff going. Our opening drives continue to stink. Our pre-snap penalties, in particular, false start penalties, are still a big issue for us. And then on top of all of that, we have this Caden Durham situation where we're asking ourselves in the back of our minds, how hurt has Caden Durham actually been? And then we are also asking, how hurt has Garrett Nussmeier been? Garrett was phenomenal. Okay. By far his best game of the season. I know the Syracuse game, I say Syracuse, the Clemson game was fantastic. That game is actually better than this one because of the opponent. But in terms of seeing the field, putting the football where it needs to be, Garrett really dominated. And our wide receivers overall took a massive step back last night. Xavion is still playing well. Aaron and Barryon are still playing well, but we have a drops problem. We have a massive, massive, massive drops problem. Some of it is on Garrett, but last night, we can go back to the Louisiana Tech game and point out some of the drops that are characterized as drops. Those were more difficult drops. Blake and I got into a big argument over, is it on the QB? Is it on the receiver? Last night, the drops that actually happened were 99.9% on the receiver. Nick Anderson dropping a walk-in touchdown. What happens on the next play? False start penalty. And then guess what? Garrett Nussmeier and Xavion, they got to bail us out. They got to bail us out again. Okay? Then we had the drop by Aaron Anderson. I will give Aaron some grace. He had to wait on the ball. Garrett's ball doesn't have the same oomph on it. He did throw a looper in that situation. That's what I like to call ones that you have to wait a little bit longer for. It's not a bad throw. It's one you should still catch. And this is something we've been saying about Aaron. I did a whole film study on Aaron last week about how good he is. But outside of him basically being a slot-only player, he really doesn't have any weaknesses outside of making the difficult grabs. That was lower on the difficulty scale. It was a good play by the DB, but you still got to make that catch. You still do. And then on the play before that, Barryon had a drop worse than that one. So it's a problem. It is a massive problem, this LSU wide receiver room and drops. Once again, some of it's on Garrett. And I also didn't want to do a full podcast on the offensive line, when especially we have an offensive line expert joining us here in just a moment. So as always, please hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. We are bringing in new partners every single day. FortifiedGolf.com. They really invested into PHL. They are a big believer in what we're doing. And yeah, they seeked us out for a partnership for you to learn more about making your roof safer. FortifiedGolf.com. You could save thousands of dollars, but on top of that, you could save your memories. Because if a shingle pops off, your roof's not going to be ready. A fortified roof protects you from that shingle falling off in severe weather. So just just check it out, FortifiedGolf.com. FortifiedGolf.com. Now, next thing, I feel like I need to be more jovial. I feel like I need to be happier about us having a 0 in the loss column. Perfect example is, let's take a look at LSU and let's take a look at a program like Arkansas. Arkansas has the highest powered offense right now in the country. They have been the best offense statistically in all of college football. They have an elite play caller. They're 2-2 with a bad head coach, an athletic director who could care less. And we are undefeated with an offense that is sputtering, play caller leaving a lot to be desired. But we're undefeated with a head coach that cares, who's actually reinvested his own money back into the program, and an athletic director who gives a shit. So I need to be more positive. I see some of these other fan bases. Imagine if you're Auburn. You feel cheated from yesterday. So as much as I am a process over results, and I am mostly a guy that views things through that prism, I try to not let the loss column just dominate the entire sport like it did last year. It had us in a stranglehold. And as much as Blake and I have debated college football playoff format and all of it, one thing I do give him a lot of credit is he is one of the loudest proponents of don't let the loss column dominate your view of the world of college football. Okay. But the truth is, it is all that matters. Until we actually see the playoff committee do the right thing and put some teams in that have more losses, we don't know. We don't know. And now you're in a spot where you must take a look at this season, and we have 8 more games. 7 if you don't want to include Western Kentucky. What you need to do the rest of the way to get into the playoff is go 3-1 and 3-1. That is one way of looking at it. Our goal this year is to get into the playoff. I think a lot of us feel that this team isn't a national championship quality team because of the offensive line and the overall offensive struggles. But a successful year in year 4 of the Brian Kelly era, after getting our first season opening victory, is to get into the playoff. How do we know for God certain that we are going to get into the playoff? Just don't lose more than 2 games. I don't like looking at it that way. That's part of where we are right now. You win this game versus Ole Miss, you are really cooking with grease. And Ole Miss is a flawed team. They're the sexy pick. They have the quarterback. Everybody loves the quarterback out of nowhere. But the truth is, LSU has a really good shot to go into Oxford and win this game. All right, we need some clap emojis in the chat. To me, this man has built an empire. His name is Blake Ruffino.
I don't know about an empire.
It's an empire, baby. Okay, here's the thing. And I know this because I'm in your shoes, even though we do content a little bit differently. You got Ruffino and Joe Show. You're building a national college football brand. It's really freaking hard to do that. NFL is a lot easier. College football, you got to be all in at all times. And you have to watch all these teams.
Mm-hmm.
When you saw that FanDuel had Ole Miss as a slight favorite, what was your instant reaction?
They don't trust you offensively worth a damn. And that everybody is freaking out over the ESPN FPI, which is just a power football index. See what these booking sports books do is there's not humans making these lines. They have a specific algorithm on how they do things. Now, in big situations, the books can be tampered with based off of just analytical data, right? Because the analytics aren't going to show if Caden Durham's probable or questionable, right? Like you can't put in an algorithm that, at least the ones that I know of, you don't. I'm not shocked by this at all. I'm not shocked by it at all. And I thought that coming off of the greatest game Garrett Nussmeier has played in an LSU uniform last night.
It was really good.
Yeah. No, it was – hold on. It can't be any better. There's not a game that you can point to that say that last night wasn't the best because he had 5 drops and he had 6 incompletions.
No, he was phenomenal.
Right. So and what is shambless? Can you Carter? I don't know.
No, bring it. You were going to say something. Go for it.
Your offensive line is the reason you're not a favorite on the road.
Yeah, I think so. I'm with
no,
you.
Ain't no think so.
No, I agree with you, and it's not as if Ole Miss's offensive line is something truly spectacular. They're good, but the thing that you could survive in college football with the not so great offensive line, it's just the better play callers work around it a lot better. So you have a few things working against LSU as you get ready for this game. But before we talk about Ole Miss, obviously we're on the same page. Garrett was fantastic last night.
Yeah, best game in the LSU uniform.
Your thoughts on the offensive line and what you would do now. You're in kind of a weird situation. Obviously, you don't have DJ Chester available until the second half. But would you make any changes, or would you stick with what?
I'd probably go DJ Chester at right tackle. Yep. You can't see this, and I'm sure you talked about it in your post game.
The twist. Yeah, let's go. I can do the twist.
Okay. What you're seeing right now is an all 22 copy of a stunt or a twist. who's wrong? And I'm not trying to point out about who's wrong. Actually, we probably should. It doesn't even matter. Okay.
No, it matters. It matters.
Well, I don't want to just point out how it's this guy's fault of why the whole.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Josh Thompson's been in college for 5 seasons.
Now you got to pass the stunt off, and then you pick up the A.
You got to pass the stunt off. What is he doing? That's multiple times. Now, got to be real with you. I think that the first sack from Weston Davis that he allowed was him assuming that Josh Thompson was going to be there, and he's waiting, and that's why you see that hesitation.
Right.
Okay. I don't think I don't think Weston Davis's game is as bad as people are saying because of when you're a guard and you have a 3 technique, you should have been fanning out anyway. Like you should have fanned out, meaning instead of a 2-step kick drop, you're probably going to go 3. So Weston kind of hesitating. I got to be honest with you. I think he thought Josh Thompson was going to be there. Josh Thompson not being there the second time is the reason that it gives me the indication of why I think that more than anything, because how can you have been – you mean to tell me that Northwestern never picked up a stunt?
No.
And he's been in Weston Davis's shoes, so he should have known better. He's been at right tackle. So you say that and people are like, oh, what do you mean? If you're an offensive lineman, I do not agree with Cole Kubelik on the telecast last night, nor Rodgers by any stretch of the imagination. His body's turned because he's supposed to be expecting the penetration. He's not doing something necessarily wrong, but your guard's got to be there, Carter. And be honest with you, I think Braylon Moore on a couple of these situations has got to be there. Why are you sliding yourself to protection as a center to the short side of the field? When is that ever taught? Ever?
Yeah, it gets weird because part of it was Florida last week got you on a few twist stunts, and it still doesn't get fixed. And then you're dealing with it now, still doesn't get fixed. And what Southeastern got them on 3 stunts, pretty clean.
And one on the run on the run. One that pisses me off more than anything, because Braylon Moore's got to come off in a run stunt. Okay, the backer knows that he's got to go feel where the loop guy is going from. If you go back and watch it, Weston Davis, I have that photo too of the all 22, but Weston Davis, okay, takes the front side backer. So, like, Braylon Moore not coming off and going to the same guy Weston Davis is hitting is a miscommunication, and Weston Davis is not wrong. That has got to be Braylon Moore's guy. So I think, listen, the very easy take is to blame Weston, okay? I think that Josh Thompson and Braylon Moore did not have good games either. I don't think Paul nor Cohen had good games. The only one that I think I'm getting consistent reps from is Tyree Adams.
Tyree put together has put together a few
really good games.
Yeah. I will say this about the twist is what I felt watching us struggle with these stunts is that this unit is so broken that everybody wants to save everybody else. And that's where you start getting in trouble.
Yeah, it's why Braylon Moore's going to save Paul Mabenga's ass.
Right. And you just need to do your job. That's why, like, you see these screenshots of offensive linemen letting blitzers run through. It's so much harder than just that, right? There are instances where you need to find work, if you will, and you would like to see offensive linemen pick it up. But the problem is when you struggle, and one NFL offensive lineman told me this actually when I was in school, is that when you're struggling, the one thing you can't do as an offensive lineman is start trying to do other people's jobs.
Yeah.
So position is just way too hard.
But they're not even doing that.
Yes, and that's a problem. When you're going to go like save someone else's job, you're oftentimes going to be leaving your job and then your job detonates a play even worse because you're not doing your job, and then the person you're supposed to be blocking is actually the one making the play. And it's a big problem. I felt rewatching this game and cutting a film study this morning. What do you do about drops? I mean, I just I don't know. I don't know because do you think it could be something with the way Garrett's throwing the ball? Because
I think you need to get Nick Anderson out of there.
It's a problem.
That's 7 drops in two of the last 3 weeks. 7.
And here's one thing I would say, Blake, and I got some pushback on this in the morning film study, is On3 released the NIL amounts of money that
not true, by the way.
Okay. I know Nick got paid. I did not think that number would made any remote sense that the On3
actually it's not true.
Yes, I didn't believe it wouldn't have. That would have caused so much locker room strife. Basically, what the number, I don't even remember the numbers. I kind of looked over it. I heard Ryan Williams' number was somewhat accurate, but the others were shaky, especially on LSU's end. That basically Barryon Brown and Nick Anderson were making a few $100,000 more than what Aaron Anderson was making. You would never do that. I don't think any coaching staff would unless you're getting Cam Coleman out of the portal or someone like that. But the truth is, cost aside, Nick's got to play better. And where I was more concerned, Blake, wasn't necessarily the red zone drop. That one's bad, and I think if he was in that spot again, he would make that play. It was the deep ball drop where he was interfered with, and they he was abused. But if you're an LSU X and we're throwing you that deep ball, I guarantee you Brian Thomas Jr. is coming down with that.
Well, you got to outfit at 220 pounds. You have to out physical a guy that's 180.
Yes,
soaking wet. That's the part where it's like, okay, you're interfered with, and that's one thing. You're also 220 pounds.
I'll tell you this: if BTJ's unfair, Terrence Tolliver's making that catch. I know for sure.
That's still brother, Terrence Tolliver was a dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
yeah,
I wanted to use like a more.
He's the last non-Louisiana guy to lead in receiving.
The last non-Louisiana guy to catch 40 passes.
Which is going to change this year.
Yeah, of course, with
Barryon's right.
And obviously, you caught 40 last year with CJ, but that doesn't count.
Well, true.
But Nick's got to catch that ball, okay? LSU wide receivers of the past, and I was saying Terrence because I don't want to use like an NFL Pro Bowler. You've got to make that catch. I've seen it countless times where LSU players are getting abused midair. You got to bring that down because
the slant pisses me off more than the deep ball. Because I mean, you can't make the argument because he's getting interfered with. The slant is inexcusable.
Yeah, the red zone. Yeah, but it's concerning. It's very concerning.
Well, then put Chris out there because again, unless it's a deep in route with Xavion Thomas, they're not sending Xavion Thomas on a fade or a post. And what bothers me is that you're not attacking the boundary vertically. Some of that's Garrett. They keep saying it's how they're playing it. I'm sorry, Chris Hilton's is not. Why does he keep getting interfered with? Okay, fine. It keeps getting interfered with. There's nothing you can do about it. He keeps beating them. Carter, they are beat. And God's honest truth, if you're gonna have any success in backing teams off of you, the deep middle of the field is not where you do it. It's just not. You're gonna have to attack the boundary.
And basically, the boundary is the short side of the field. And honestly, boundary or not, you got to start getting some vertical stuff down the sidelines. It's so big. It really is so big.
Well, no competent offense doesn't do that. I mean, I understand Garrett wants to attack the middle of the field, but even the great play on the roll left in the Xavion touchdown, like you did it literally with Barryon, who got interfered with. Like Barryon got interfered with and still came down with it. Why please somebody explain to me how you have two guys that run 4.2s and you don't even try it more against Southeastern. You know, like I thought when Brian Kelly came out at halftime and told Kublik that, yeah, Garrett's got one more drive. I'm like, you know what they're about to do? They're about to go bombs over Baghdad and just get it out there. And they didn't do it. They ran RPOs. They're running the ins and outs to Kyle Parker. I'm like, brother, you got man coverage on the top of the screen with Barryon Brown. What are we doing?
And once again, it is what Blake is saying is like, yeah, Southeastern gave you a bunch of soft coverage and a bunch of underneath stuff. Honestly, they gave up way too much of that. I understand you don't want to get beat deep, but you still need to keep attacking deep.
He's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you right now, he ain't giving you shit deep. And he's going to say, then, hey, you know what? Go 13 plays on my ass.
Yeah, and I will never, ever – if there was one question I wanted to ask Pete Golding, why did you not mix up anything on the final drive versus LSU?
I think he would. If I had to assume, I think he would tell you that he didn't expect Garrett or Joe to make that play and to make the call.
It was insane. Mm-hmm. It's still great quarterbacking, but it's something I think about quite a bit.
Well, and their defense isn't great. They had a great performance yesterday, though.
Yeah, they did, and we'll see how it plays out next Saturday. Michael Van Buren did what for you?
Showed me that he's a gamer and not a practice player. But the problem is that he's going up with the twos against mainly your number one offense when we saw him, and that ain't fair.
True.
It's not. I mean, it's just not fair. I mean, I think that you saw a guy in practice who, quite honestly, just he needs to be with the ones. And then let's see what happens. I got to be real with you. I think the kid can really play.
No, he's good. I mean,
I think they were good. The scramble ability from the quarterback position was really nice to see. Like having the spin move was ridiculous.
Fourth and 11, gotta have it,
or 4th and 11, whatever it was.
Oh yeah, it was 4th and 9. Excuse me, you're right.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a ridiculous run.
I
know it's Southeastern. It was ridiculous. It was
pointing Caleb Jackson. But I wonder what starts happening in the run game. Carter, I feel like that this passing game is going to figure it out. I always have, kind of. I still think that they're going to keep figuring it out. And you know who I'm targeting next week? I know you don't want to get in front. I'm targeting Sage Ryan. But it is good to see that, you know, you're not completely inept without Garrett, and that's a great thing to have. It's like what you have with Garrett and Jaden. Right? You felt the same way. So I think he played really well.
Please hit the like button. Check out AYS Sports.
2 drops, by the way. He would have been perfect.
Yeah. It was nice seeing the ball hitting the ground only because the receivers were dropping it.
Or one drop. I mean, if he had time to step up in that Jelani Watkins post, I bet you he hits it. And here's the thing with Michael Van Buren. He don't give a shit what Joe Sloan's going to tell him at all. He don't give a shit. Run a post and watch what's going to happen. He did that shit in practice, and Joe would get on his ass. He goes, I'm throwing it. He don't care. He going to chirp to Sloan now, and that's another thing. I think Garrett tries to understand what they're trying to attack. Michael Van Buren don't give a shit. Michael on his own planet, and I've seen that with my own eyes. Hey, if this guy that runs a 4.2 is going deep, he's going to get the ball thrown in his general direction.
I will say, if you were to point out one great thing Van Buren was last year,
Command. He had no command at State. He looked in control last night.
And his deep balls were a thing of beauty last year in Mississippi State. I was shocked.
Pause.
Oh my God. I did deep. Okay, I'll let that one go. I think defensively, you know, you really can't take too much away from Southeastern at all. What matchup wise are you looking forward to with this LSU defense going up against this version of the Ole Miss offense?
Just the same stuff. I wonder how the front seven plays with a team that's actually been physical. I mean, because they're going to run the ball with Lacey. And here's the real question, Carter. Is it Chambliss? I think it's Chambliss at this point, at quarterback for them.
I think it'd be lunacy, to not play him.
I think it would be too. Let's just say hypothetically it is. You didn't contain a running quarterback at all last year. And it's not the design shit that he has been doing. It's the non-design shit that he's been doing. And it's going to be getting him on the ground. And so you're now tested. Basically, how do you defend Chambliss in the run game? And I think that they're going to test that early. I mean, Carter, they ran the ball with his ass against Tulane, and Tulane's not a scrub. I mean, I don't think they're a scrub G5 team.
No, they're good. John Summerall's got a good team.
Yeah, and so, I mean, it's going to be that. I think Florida did test you, right? But I think that this might be your biggest test in that area. Because, Carter, they're going 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and they don't give a shit. And then when you're walking everybody down, if you can't go man coverage and cover them, they're going to hit you deep with Wallace and those guys. So we'll see, man. It's an interesting matchup. That one, really, because right now I have no faith in your offensive line. So I kind of feel like I know how that's going to go.
Want to shout out our partners at Laborde Therapy and LabordeTherapy.com. If you're in the Lafayette region and you're dealing with that back pain, knee pain, pain, check them out, Laborde Therapy. LabordeTherapy.com. 5 different locations in the Acadiana region. I want to ask you, Blake, do you think now that we've seen some shakiness, we were so high after the Clemson game, do you still feel this team will make the college football playoff?
I don't know that yet. I kind of am still taking this one game at a time. I will tell you, watching Miami versus Florida made me feel a lot better.
Gators put up a fight.
No, it's really good on defense.
Carmani McClain made a pick in that game that was
got off of his receiver in coverage and got it. But the thing is, Carter, I mean, they win 26-7 because Florida went for it on their own 20-yard line twice on 4th down and didn't convert it. And Miami was able to get 2 pretty cheap touchdowns there at the end. That was a 13-7 game with 5 minutes left. By the way, Florida had the football, and they did. Did you watch how much of the? I know the game was at night. Did you really watch that game a lot? Did you get a lot of eyes on it?
Because I had it in a background, but no, I'm not going back and rewatch probably like you have.
Dude, they didn't let Lagway do shit. They were so scared to throw the football. They went 0 for 13 on 3rd down. 0 for 13. Now, Miami might be a little bit better than you, but the problem with that is that you still hit a lot of more explosive plays in the pass game because you can in the run game. They did not let Lagway loose at all. They said after last week, screw this. This kid, he's seeing ghosts, so we're going to have to manage it different. And they did not let – Carter, he threw 3 passes and 13 tries on 3rd down.
All right, let me give you a hot Ruffino and Joe take right here. I think
Miami's the most complete team in the country.
You could say that. I also think Lagway should just shut it down.
I'm not. I think game reps are important.
I do too, but when he
needs the game reps.
When you're playing this bad, we're 4 games in. You could preserve your red shirt if you're really hurt.
I don't agree with that. He's got to play.
I don't know.
There's no better teacher than game reps.
The reason I would think about it if I was Florida and Lagway is that I think it helps both parties because
Billy Napier will never go for that because he's fighting for his life. It's not going to happen.
Well, isn't the Florida backup someone that they're excited about?
When are you not excited about a backup? My first call last night was a guy wanting to talk about Michael Van Buren over Garrett after Garrett had the night he had.
Which is nuts.
Which is insane. Think about that for a minute. Garrett was pretty much perfect. And I thought the Xavion Thomas pass was a PI. I don't think people understand what happened with Garrett last night. I think they're looking at it as that's just Southeastern. And here's the truth. It very well may just be Southeastern. the mother trucker went perfect. He went full Herman Boone. This team will be perfect. You fumble the football, I'll break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts, and then you'll run a mile. Perfection, gentlemen. I mean, he was damn near perfect.
I still think the biggest game in the SEC this year will be LSU and Oklahoma. I think it'll be a playoff invitational.
For us?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the playoff invitational. I think
Oklahoma's bad. They're bad. I'm sorry, they're bad.
Whoa!
They are the team. They might be the same exact team as you. They're bad, bro. They're bad. They're not good offensively. I know John Mateer's bailed them out. Dude, think of all the shit that they've had.
Bad. Blake, I don't know if I can let you go. You're saying
I don't know, man. Okay.
Sooner Nation. I cannot let that go.
Average. They might be average. They ran the ball for 45 yards yesterday, and look at how much had to go their way in the Michigan game and in the Auburn game to win those.
So
hold on. You do realize that they have 24 points between the Michigan and the Auburn game that should not have technically counted.
Yeah. I watch a lot of Oklahoma. They really support the SEC channel. And I was glued to that game. I found that game to be so captivating because you had the controversies. And if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know if I would call
Which one?
Well, there's 1,000. I mean, obviously the Satania call will be talked about.
Which one? Which Satania? Satania's involved in all three.
Yes. Okay. The thing that got me some really nasty messages was me saying that pass was, you were lucky that it didn't get overturned. And you were
the screen?
No, I'm talking about the deep pass, the slot fade that they threw that he bobbled out of bounds.
That's if Barryon's isn't a catch,
right. That's my point. Is like the fact that they overturned that to a catch. That was my only point. You could call it a catch.
But they overturned two of them. The fumble and that one. What's the likelihood of that happening?
It's insane. And then you have Satania catching the touchdown on the
which we know shouldn't have counted. I gotta ask a question. Should Auburn ask the SEC for a draw? That's a lot of bad calls to have.
It was a lot. No, I'm with you. And then
Carter, they can't run the ball outside of John Mateer at all.
Well, Jay Knott is terrible, apparently. Won't even give him a shot, Mr. Jay Knott.
Blaylock only had you can beat them on the road.
I think so too.
On the road, I'm not worried about that. Here's what I'm worried about. Can you just contain 10?
He's good. He's very good. And I understand he's flawed, but he's the offense right now.
Yeah, new Saints quarterback John Mateer.
Oh, dude, Blake, don't. Would you be happy about that from an NFL perspective?
You do realize that people really think Spencer Rattler is the future? Yeah, I have Saints people in my mentions saying I made a joke today. I don't know if you saw this. It was a gif of Garrett Nussmeier saying, "This is the only man that can save you, only man that can save the Saints." And they completely overreacted to it because, of course, they did. There's people in those comments saying that Spencer Rattler is the future of New Orleans Saints.
Back to the LSU, do we stick with the current run-pass play calling, or do we cut Nuss loose and let him air it out in Oxford? So
got to cut him loose. Gotta cut him loose. Gotta let it rip.
I was gonna let that be the final thing because I don't know about you. The most messages I get is about play calling and Sloan. You did bring up a pretty astute observation that was Brian Kelly actually holding a play sheet yesterday, which was interesting.
And then apparently he says in the press conference that I overruled some of the calls that were made tonight. allegedly.
Take that for what it's worth, ladies and Gentiles. Take it for what it's worth. Baby.
Here's the thing. BK ain't got don't give two shits. I think what's happened here, BK's going 3-yard run, 3-yard run, and playing some field position because he thinks he's that good defensively. And listen, here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. Remember last year the conversation was that, well, Blake Garrett's in too many 3rd and 10 pluses. What's the excuse now?
Well,
because you are 133rd in the country right now, by the way, and not converting 3rd and 5 or minimum or less. You're 133rd out of 133 teams. You're dead last in the country in converting on 3rd down in that situation. Dead last.
Oh, it's so bad, and that's one major point I kept making. I don't know if you've heard of Game on Paper. I had the guy that founded that site. It's like a free analytics site, and I asked him about LSU's offense being a 3rd and long conversion offense, and he was like, Carter, I've never been more certain that that's going to be very volatile going into next year. It's something you can't really rely on. So
now what about 3rd and short?
Yes. So that was something else he brought up. He was like, you're going to see some other funky 3rd down stuff if your offense is so 3rd down dependent. And there's two things about that. 3rd down play calling, especially 3rd and medium. One thing in college football is there are so many 3rd downs that are converted by quarterbacks scrambling. You're starting to see Garrett do that more. He had a 3rd and 11. That was a longer one, scramble. But you take the Louisiana Tech one where he rolled out to the left side. That was a 2nd and medium that he should have been able to convert. So that's part of it. But you also need to be so much better on 1st and 2nd. And you need to be so much better on your opening drives and on drive number 2 in your opening script, where LSU's script is worse than Giggly starring Jennifer Lopez. It's worse than season 5 of Dexter. That's how bad the opening scripts have been. So
I didn't even make it through season 5 of Dexter. That's how bad it was.
You quit that season too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. This is why I hate. This is why I learned. This is why I hate you so much.
I quit it,
dude. I did too, and then I did the worst hate watch ever of the final few episodes. But I let that marinate.
I couldn't even make it through.
So you really honestly
here's the truth. I watched all of the seasons of Dexter and I still don't know how it ends. And I that's a pet. I don't know how he's alive right now. Like
I don't either. I mean, season 2 with Dokes was always the best season.
Surprise, mother trucker.
Yeah.
He was my favorite. He's one of my favorite characters of all time. I tell you, there is the Black Rabbit on Netflix. That's been my new TV show.
Black Rabbit.
Yeah, the Black Rabbit.
Well, sell me on it. I need it.
Basically, it's another Jason Bateman Netflix special. Like,
you
know how what was the one where Ozark?
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those. I'm on the ground floor, but it's got who's the guy that plays the sidekick in Sherlock Holmes?
I couldn't have heard of this.
Hold on. I forget the actor's name. Hold on.
Is this a Megan Ruffino show? Does a wife?
No.
Oh, it's a Lana show.
Jude Law.
Jude Law, baby.
Yeah, Jude Law.
I've seen Jude Law.
It's really freaking good, dude. It's really good. It's another Jason Bateman one, dude. Jason Bateman's a dog with the stuff that he writes. Ozark and now this. It's so good, dude. It's so thrilling.
Bateman's a podcaster too. So Jason, if you're watching right now.
Yeah, don't go on this show. I watch every Jason Bateman thing.
Bateman, you have an open invite to hop on PHL or
He's got to have the beard though. Long hair and beard.
Your thoughts on anything outside of the SEC that has interested you? Do you feel any different? Because you've been one of the more vocal 8 versus 9. We need to stay at 8. And a crux of your argument is it's because of everyone else. So
name a Big Ten game this year outside of Ohio State and Texas.
a Big Ten game.
Yeah, like name a high profile. Like,
Oh, yeah. You had Michigan and Nebraska this
okay,
weekend.
that's not high profile. Sorry. It's not high profile. Because neither one of those teams, just because it's a bad week doesn't make it high profile.
And then you had the Fighting Fernando Mendozas
Okay.
against the Jen
So
Bielema's husband.
So a Big Ten team versus a Big Ten team. Okay. By the way, Illinois lost 5 DBs in that game. 5 corners went out of that game injured.
So you're still skeptical of the rest of the country.
Yeah, but yeah.
So let me ask you this: if you're going to say that, do you feel the SEC is strong?
I don't know that yet either.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing is, Carter, they're 11-3 in non-opponent Power 4 matchups this year. 11-3 so far.
Yeah.
The 3 losses: Florida, okay, to Miami, Power 4 opponents.
Alabama, Florida State.
Alabama, and then Texas.
Okay. Yeah.
But who did they lose to? Miami. Okay, we think they may win the ACC. Okay. Ohio State might win the Big Ten. Okay. And I don't know if we think that Bama or I don't know if we think Bama or Florida clearly are top 4 or 5. Maybe they are. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, we'll see this week with Georgia versus Bama. What do you say?
No, that's what I wanted to put up.
Yeah, USC, dude. People aren't talking enough about USC. I think Jonah Coleman at Washington is a dog. You better watch out for Washington. You better don't play around. God, Penn State, Oregon, good Lord. And I mean, Auburn can beat A&M. I mean, shit, dude, this is a massive week. That's not even all of them.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which game I'm most excited about outside, of course, LSU Ole Miss.
Let's just be real. People are going to hate me. It's the 2 at the bottom. It's Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Alabama, Georgia. Put a massive circle mark on USC right now.
I don't know if I want to even do an LSU Ole Miss post game because I want to watch these games.
Well,
so
I'll be there.
Dude,
I'll be there.
Dude, God, I love these games. This just gets me. It makes me warm inside. It's like when I first met my wife. This is actually better than that, if we're being honest. This is how great. Yeah, I'm just serious. Like
you feel like the first time you had a thing of a warm brownie and a glass of milk.
Oh, dude, yes, better than that though, dude.
This is Christmas time brownie, warm with a glass of milk. This is full Santa Claus. All right, I'm done cutting for the year. It's time to start eating some chocolates.
This is AM Mart next to LSU's campus off Nicholson, Cajun turkey level eliteness. Dude, that's how great this slate of games.
Yeah, I think anything from there too, by the way, is just all doused in mayo.
Oh, you're not an AM Mart guy?
I've had it a couple times. I don't mind it. I just would like some sandwich with my mayo.
I one time, true story, at AM Mart, I accidentally dropped my my card when I went to pay for my sandwich, and the cashier took it as if I was, throwing the card at him, right? Because cashiers don't like it if you just, drop the card and make them have to go pick it up.
Oh, no.
And I got absolutely positively dressed down. And there was a line of people behind me. Dude, this guy destroyed my soul. I walked out shaking, and the sandwich made up for it. It was that good. But AMart, man. No. It's AMart better than Incas though.
I don't. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. By the way, Ole Miss. I know we didn't really talk about them. You know that they're 120th in the country in run defense,
and they don't line up properly. Quite a few times.
We better be able to run the football this week. I mean, but we didn't run the ball in Southeastern, so I guess we're just hopeful wishing.
I do think there's some value in playing quicker versus Ole Miss. I do.
Yeah, gotta be careful with that though.
Why is that?
You don't make right decisions either.
What do you do to slow down and lower the amount of false start penalties?
I'm not answering that question. I'm not going to answer it the way I was going to answer it.
No, you got to be unfiltered. When have you ever? That's the first time in the history.
What I'm about to say would be way too mean.
No. Be as mean as you want to be.
Said hut, and then there's way too long of a delay. Said hut, wait, go watch every bit of it. Said hut, and then he's clapping. I get what you're trying to do. I don't know. I don't know,
dude. I will tell you a gazillion times over that when Jackson Dart on the Gruden QB room was destroyed for, when Gruden asked him, hey, what's y'all's hut cadence? And he was like, it's just that. And all the NFL snobs were like, oh, that won't work in the NFL. And my response to that is, I don't give a shit. Ole Miss's team was always on the same page. And sometimes I feel like you should just do that. I understand the clap, the fake cadence, the checking. It's part of Garrett's superpower to see what the defense is going to do, and you can check into all that stuff. But it can be too much. Like that to me is just
you are doing way too much.
It's way more valuable at the NFL level, where everybody on your offense are professionals and they've seen it all, right? In college, it's just hard. It's just so much harder to do. Okay, it's just more shit you gotta worry about.
What's louder? Turbo set.
It's a clap.
I don't think the clap was louder. I think that you should be able to. I mean,
so you want more audible cadences?
I don't know. Be smarter.
Mm.
You got to be smarter. But what about this offense under Sloan has been good at all? Thank you.
Define good. Huh? Define good. Well, I will also say where it gets complicated is I would feel a little bit more blast Joe Sloan for everything if there was one position group that you felt really good about as far as their development.
Yeah, it's very fair.
So
then why'd you fire Matt House?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can't. Then why'd you? Because you literally went out. Yeah. I mean, you literally went out and got a whole new defense, and you bought it. So, okay. So, did he have the players or not? You can't say that you didn't have the players and say, "Well, we just have better players now." Yeah, no shit. So, I mean, it comes to a point where Carter. I mean, sometimes it is personnel.
A lot of it is that, but the problem is you've just gone over on so many guys.
Yep.
And then you got to start asking the question, and it does require deeper analysis of looking at all the other rosters and seeing if those, like I actually looked at the Zachariah Branch recruiting class, and there was a lot of wide receivers that had not done anything. So there's been quite a few wide receivers that have not worked out in these last couple of recruiting classes at other schools. I'm only using wide receivers because that was the first thing that came to my mind. But, Brad Davis takes a lot of heat. I will say this. I do think Brad Davis is now getting more criticized than Joe Sloan, which I did not think would happen. But there's not a day that goes by that your mentions, my mentions aren't Brad Davis in the answer.
You're only a great recruiter when those prospects hit.
Yeah.
Not by the star rating.
Yeah.
What made Mickey Joseph so great? What made Mickey Joseph so great?
Oh, dude, he would take care of a guy like Jamar Chase, but Jeray Jenkins turned into something. You know, he was good.
Remember when everybody forgot about Trey Palmer? Said he wasn't good enough? He has more receiving yards, catches, and touchdowns than anybody that was in that class.
Yeah. In
Besides,
Trey's instance, though, he needed a
yeah, I
change.
mean, and that's fine.
But your point still remains the same. Your point still remains the same.
What else?
And then of course,
you're recruiting people that reminds you of you a little bit too much. And I think that you're not going and getting the actual talented person.
Okay, go on. I'm interested.
Yeah, so I don't think that the interior of the offensive line, yeah, they got drafted, but were they good?
It's a mixed bag.
Okay, so if it's a mixed bag, then there's a chance. So listen, I just don't think right now that you have the personnel. I don't, but I don't say that about Tyree Adams.
No, he's a solid. Tyree Adams is a solid SEC starter.
But maybe you missed. But here's the problem, though. How do they not? How do teams keep hitting them on stunts? That's not a physical problem. No, it's a mental problem.
Stunts are always going to be more mental because the stunt, it's more important to at least just pick it up.
I think Weston Davis's are mental. I don't think they're really physical. Because when he's locked on somebody, it's not like he's being overpowered. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like there are some physical things like the one where Garrett had to scroll left or roll left. But there gets a point in time where, well, hey, sometimes your quarterback's got to move. Not everything's going to be perfect. Great plays. Carter, what was Joe Burrow's best play in the SEC championship game?
Well, it's got to be the Justin Jefferson toss.
Okay.
There's a few other really great ones, but it's got to be that. It's got to be that.
What I'm saying? Sometimes you got to move. All right, sounds good. I'm like, what are we doing here? So what? He gets beat. Sometimes you got to move. The thing I would just say is I think it's more mental. And when it becomes in 2 years, when it's a mental thing, it becomes a coaching thing.
I do think Weston is overthinking things.
I do too.
The false starts are an example of that. I do think it's important though, since we've spent so much time talking about stunts, he's also just getting beat. Period.
There are times he's getting beat. Period. Too. Yeah.
But the problem I have is he's getting beat a lot. Like I don't think it's an at times thing. So like at the end of the half, you get a false start from him. And then on the next play, Garrett has to roll out because he gets beat off the edge. And
that's why DJ comes in. But again, I don't think that I mean, Carter, let me take the two stunts out of it and then just give me those two plays. Because we're assuming that the two plays with the stunts are on him, which again,
it's nearly impossible to a gazillion % know.
No, you do know on the stunts. You do know. I'm sorry, you know.
I see. That's where I can't quite.
Carter,
I would like to think that I know, but I don't know how it's being taught. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
That's not they are not. I'm telling you right now. I've been in practice. They're not teaching them not to pass it off. I'm sorry. There's no.
I'm with you on the pass off. It's just like.
Okay, so take those two out, and then what do you have? You have a false start, a speed guy gets him on the edge. Okay, sounds good. I get it. But if you take those stunts out of it, which hit you with it last week that I thought Josh Thompson messed up on, then what?
There was it was either Caden or Juwan. There was a zone blocking play to the left that Weston let the end cross face on.
Yep.
But
what about the other 7 times you ran left and you got your ass dominated? We're blaming Weston,
and I will say
we're blaming Weston Davis because his look worse than what the others look.
Yeah, I was hoping, crossing my fingers, that Cohen Eccles would be better, but it's been
not
really,
good.
It's been really tough.
Is Juwan? Here's the real question: take Caden Durham's injury out of it for a minute. Is he your number 1 back right now? If Caden's fully healthy?
No, I don't think so. No,
I think he is. Caden's missing way too many things, and I think their impatience is growing thin.
Yeah,
he's missing way too many holes, Carter. I'm sorry, he is.
No, it's gotten to be tough. It's gotten to be really tough, especially if you are trying to run outside zone, where there's so much on the running back on that play. You would think it would be duo runs because there's a running back read just kind of that you have to make for that to work. But Caden's made a few tough decisions on OZ runs. And I don't know if it's a processing thing, but there's also a lot of instances where he just has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I just still think Caden is clears Juwan. I do.
Oh, they're going to keep doing it if he's healthy, but
if you say Juwan's better,
I'm not saying he's better. I don't think he's better, but you know what he's done the last 3 weeks more than Caden Durham? Gotten more positive yards.
And do you think that's more on Juwan's doing, or do you?
Yeah, because I think Juwan Johnson ain't. I got to be real with you. Is running, finding one hole, and saying, "Bring me down, you son of a bitch," because you're not going to. Sorry, I got to be real with you. Juwan going up in there head first, and he don't give a shit. This is 3 weeks in a row he's done that more than Caden. And quite frankly, Caden does not want to get north and south. He wants to pity pat. Pity pat, pity pat. He's pity patting at the line of scrimmage. Go watch him eat. It's like a duck on water. A duck looks calm on the surface, but them feet moving 1,000 miles a minute. Juwan Johnson will stick his foot in the dirt and put his head down and say, "Come get you some, you piece of shit." And got to be honest, here's the thing. When do you start taking positive yards in the run game this much more seriously now? And he's getting it the last 3 weeks more than technically your guy. Carter, you ran the ball for 2 yards a carry after the long 25-yard run from him, and then the one run that he had to the outside that was designed for him to go. He's less than 1 yard a carry right now in some situations.
Here's what I would say is that this right now with Caden, obviously we'll see what the injury thing is with Pete Thamel's report. I've heard different things as far as like how severe this actually is.
I think Gabe's is the worst. Gabe's injury is going to be the worst.
Yeah,
Don't let Brian Kelly do it tomorrow.
Yeah, and the Relfords are big supporters, so we'll see. Yeah, I know, because he's done some really good things unselfishly for this team, for some stunts and stuff like that. So it is a loss. Here's the one thing I'll say about Caden. I understand I've dug my heels in with some of my Caden remarks. I do think this is the first time in his career he is really facing some adversity, right? So he was so unfreaking believably good in high school. No one could stop him. And as a true freshman, he was good. Did he have some rough moments? Yes. But, I mean, he was truly elite in some of the games. And now, this is the first time he struggled probably in his football career.
He's got to find a hole and hit it.
So
he's got to start getting skinny, Carter.
Yes. And
I'll be honest with you, I think he's running away from contact.
And you do begin to wonder, do you believe? This is something that I feel BTJ's going through with the Jaguars. Is he doesn't believe in the offense. He doesn't believe. And you've honestly just got to look at yourself in the mirror if you're Caden Durham and say, what do I need to do to be better? I think he really needs to do a gut check, because a lot of it,
when he got taken out, he's blaming the offensive line. I mean, like, I get it, but
it's clear he's disgruntled. It's clear.
very clear. But at the same time, you're missing wide open holes. The only person you should be a little disgruntled with is yourself.
He's got to play better. I'm with you.
Yeah, he's got to play better. And be honest with you, Carter, you got to have a discussion. Do I think he's a better athlete at running back than Jawan? Yes. But then why is Xavion still, when everybody in the building knows what's coming, everybody in the building knows when he's in the backfield what's coming? How is he getting positive yards?
You want to know why? It's because Xavion fears nothing. That is my favorite thing about him as a player.
I agree. And listen, I got to be real with you. I don't know if you don't start giving him more touches and go a little bit more Dexter McCluster with him. I've been telling you this
now that's a deep cut, especially for the Ole Miss week. Let's go.
Go a little Dexter McCluster.
You're on your shit, bro. You are on your shit.
Mid-season form, bitches.
Let's go.
Go a little
Dexter McCluster.
What a name. What a name. I can still hear the telecast. Dexter McCluster.
God.
Carter, you better start giving him and Jawan a little bit more touches.
Xavion just you know what's funny about Dexter McCluster?
Dexter McCluster.
All right, so most people, it's hard to find this clip, but most people talk about when Chad Jones hit Joe Adams or the Chad Jones strip of John Parker Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
But the craziest Chad Jones play that I've ever witnessed was
the punt return against Mississippi State.
Okay, there was that, and then he had there's so many Chad Jones plays, but there was a time when blindside blocks were still legal. And by the way, if you're younger and you weren't around in like the blindside era, especially on special teams, the sport is different. Them taking blindside blocks out completely changes sport forever. Just blindside hits in general.
Mm-hmm.
But Dexter McCluster literally leveled Chad Jones in one of the hardest hits I've ever seen. Chad Jones' back hits the ground, and he floats back onto his feet. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I still never. I need to go find this clip, and I'll send it to you later. It shows you how special Chad Jones was as an athlete. Dex literally decleated this guy, and it didn't matter. Chad Jones was. Yeah,
you had to have your head on a swivel,
dude. It's hard to watch football now because you can't hit the quarterbacks. QBs are able to just unleash.
Targeting's broken.
Wait, what?
Targeting is broken.
Oh yeah,
like the Illinois hit in the Indiana game. That kid literally is leaning with his shoulder and puts his elbow down, and they said because his head is a little bit slightly first, it's targeting.
Dude, you.
Sage Ryan should have been kicked out of the Ole Miss game. I'm glad they didn't do it, but you better attack number 3 this week.
Oh, dude, there's not going to be.
Aaron Anderson versus number 3 this week is cake for you.
There's not going to be a bigger hate watch.
Oh,
in LSU football than
never
than this.
This might be worse than Eli Ricks.
I would say so. Yes, I think LSU fans. Well, I mean, Sage has already won Ole Miss some games versus LSU, if you know what I mean. It really was that bad in that matchup for some reason. Before we let you go, don't forget Ruffino and Joe show.
Yep.
AYS. I'm on your channel Tuesday nights. I love it.
Yep.
For me, there's because you are a national college football mind now. I've gone back and forth on the transfer portal window discussion. All right. You and I talk privately about a lot of different college football topics. We have not discussed this at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I always like to have a topic that I'll just bring up to you on your show or this one. What is your initial reaction to a one-time transfer?
Hate it.
Okay.
Yeah, hate it because it makes no sense.
I think it's going to cause a lot. I'm with you. I thought it was going to be
But the problem is the academic calendar doesn't match up with the season.
Yes.
That is why I don't hate it for you specifically, meaning LSU, because I think that with Petito, Martin, Thomas, Bolden, and Belton, I think you have a really good front office. So I think that you kind of can get away with it. So BK can focus on other things when other things need to be focused on. I mean, you can't look at Austin Thomas right now and say that, I mean, Carter, he's hit at 2 places at an elite level. Okay. He clearly hit along the defensive line for Ole Miss last year. Clearly. Okay. Then he clearly is hit right now for LSU, right? I mean, is it safe to assume?
Yeah, no, he's been one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's hitting 2 places. So it doesn't hurt for you. But the problem is, you got to go to people. Let's say you make the playoff, Carter. Let's say you win a playoff game. You got to go to donors who are spending a shitload of money to go to one of your playoff games. God forbid you go to a national title and say, hey, I need a couple million.
Yeah, to build the roster for the next year.
Yeah, right.
It's a cluster, man. It is a cluster.
Going to the playoff, imagine having a playoff win in Baton Rouge. Austin Thomas is going to hit every big booster and say, hey, buddy, I need money now.
And they're going to say yes.
And they're going to say yes. The best thing would be for you right now in momentum is to lose an SEC championship and play a game at home and basically go on the Ohio State run.
Dude, there's a lot. That's why I'm hoping for
that place would fracture. The concrete of Pantheon and Steel will fracture that night. It'd be like the Art of the Covenant.
No,
non-biblical scholars won't know what I mean.
Okay, I will say, obviously the spring transfer window was big for LSU this past year, but I kind of like having
Bernard Gooden. How good's he playing?
Right.
AJ Halsey. How good's he playing?
Yes, I kind of like the 2 windows because I feel it does make spring football a little bit more valuable because you can say, hey, this we gotta hit this, our last ditch effort.
I mean, how long is free agency? Isn't it like 2 months?
Yes. So it's a lot cramming in for a week. I've never been in a personnel department, but I know quite a few people who have. It's already hard enough to manage a high school recruiting class. And now you're managing transfers, which is even more important now. It's a lot. It's a lot for just.
Well, think about this. You didn't see Jordan Gilbert or Ashton Stamps last night,
which is wild. It's wild.
I don't think it's wild. I think you got a decision that was made. You didn't see. I mean, hypothetically speaking, to the point I'm making here is an Austin Thomas at another school is probably hitting up Ashton Stamps' agent and being like, "Hey, bro, they're not playing him. What's up?"
Yeah, that's definitely going on.
I'll be real with you. I know of a true freshman that is highly talented right now and not playing, and it's just the game, the way the game plays, and that I think that this very talented DB is going to be open in the market.
You're talking about on this year's team?
No, not on this year's team. I'm talking about on another team, and I think teams are already vying in for buying spots.
Which is even more important if you don't have a spring window. You got to get things ready for.
Yeah, I mean, Carter, yeah. I got to be real with you. I think that there's I think that we have a starting corner who is the third corner on somebody else's playoff team this year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, because Delane for sure gone. Pickett will be one of your guys, but you got to go get someone else.
Mm-hmm. Or you don't and say, hey, you got Pickett and PJ Woodland.
For the way Blake Baker wants to play defense, because this is what
PJ's been so good. God, he's been so good.
PJ's a good football player.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will say though, the biggest game of the SEC season thus far was Tennessee, Georgia.
Yep.
And
this week it's Bama, Georgia.
Yeah, it's
Because if Bama loses and they're 2-2 in September, I might have a small aneurysm.
I will say if
Because they're going to lose another one.
If Jermon McCoy was healthy for Tennessee, they probably win that game. And Blake, both of their starting corners played 94.
Carter, if my grandpa had a vagina, he'd be my grandma.
Yes, but they played 94 snaps each. 94 snaps.
Not my problem.
No, I understand it's not your problem. My point, though, is depth at corner is very important. Depth at defensive back is very important. So LSU, I feel pretty good that they're I understand PJ Woodland and Pickett is a very good starting pair of corners going into next year.
$50 says Bama doesn't run for over 110 yards on Georgia. I'm almost bullish to say they don't run over 75.
You're high on Georgia to get this done.
Bama couldn't run the ball in Wisconsin. They had less than 50 yards rushing on Wisconsin. What do you think Georgia's about to do?
Gunnar Stockton, if he wins this game, new Heisman favorite. Gunnar
Probably. And he's had a bye week.
So
at home, at night, in Athens. They ain't losing.
Mateer's a Heisman favorite. I saw Mendoza go up to second in Heisman.
Mateer is not my Heisman favorite right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't like doing the early Heisman favorite thing, but
I'd pick Ahmad Hardy above John Mateer right now.
ULM. Caca.
God, Eli Drinkwitz is 25-5 in the last 30 games, by the way.
Schedule soft. Schedule softer. Schedule. If I'm not a big time school, I like Arkansas scheduling Memphis on the road. By
the way, Sam Pittman gone?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I don't buy the airplane. There's some airplane rumors going around.
Of course,
I do think what Marcelo reported earlier today about Petrino does have some legs.
What did he report?
Well, Bobby is working the phones to see if he can for sure be the interim coach for Arkansas. Pittman is let go before the season is over.
Why couldn't he be? Because he got arrested?
No, because
fired.
It's the history, but also the move was so bold that they're like, hey, if for some reason Sam gets fired, we're going to make T. Will the guy to be the interim. Now that's shifted. That was basically the
because Bobby Petrino wants to be the head coach again.
Yes, so what he's doing,
and Arkansas is going to do it, and it's going to be a travesty.
I'm with you. I will say Bobby's play calling is as good as it's ever been.
I agree. Taylor Green's been really good.
Follow him. AYS.
Yeah,
AYS. What's the
They got Notre Dame this week. They're going to get destroyed.
Who, Notre Dame or Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Destroyed?
Yep.
The Fighting CJ Cars?
You can't stop Memphis from running the ball. What the frick do you think that Notre Dame's about to do?
That was the worst tackling game since Ed Orgeron 2021. Yeah. It really was to that point. But I do think Arkansas puts up a fight. It's the Lou Holtz game.
Yeah, they need to figure out if they actually care about football.
Check them out, AYS Sports. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. Few more. Now, I'm going to give you one early lean for LSU Ole Miss. For some reason, I've done really well actually wagering LSU this year. Okay, so my Discordians got a play. I bet Southeastern to cover the spread yesterday. I thought LSU would play well, but I thought our offense was clunky enough for them to cover. I should have told Blake that because he's obviously a Southeastern. I said obviously. Not a lot of people know he played college football at Southeastern. There you go. A membership. I don't know what the gifted member. I should have searched that by now. But yeah, we gave out a membership. Havon Finney should play early. Ooh. Jalen is high on the incoming DBs. Carvis likes Michael Turner. Okay, I'll tell you what I think about Michael Turner. Quick break, and one of my betting leans for LSU Ole Miss right after this. PHL Nation, it's time to lock in and get serious really quickly with our friends at Fortified Gulf Coast and FortifiedGulf.com. This is my buddy Ramey. He is one of many Fortified Gulf Coast inspection professionals that are doing something to help you not only save your home, but your memories.
The Fortified program got started about 13 years ago. We adopted it here in New Orleans about 2.5 years ago. It's a more advanced way of doing the roof. It adds an extra layer of protection, whereas even if a hurricane was to pull the shingles off this roof, water will still not get into the house.
So yes, your establishment is important, but what about the things you can't replace? That family scrapbook or that painting that's been handed down from Meemaw to Papaw and to you. It is important to protect that today with Fortified Roofing. And while this seems like a priceless asset, did you know it can actually save you on your homeowner's insurance up to 37% if you are in South Louisiana? Just call the number 504-444-7563. That's 504-444-7563, or visit FortifiedGulf.com. That's Power Hour Network listeners and viewers. You might be consuming this content with that crick in your back that you've been trying to get rid of for so long. Take this as your sign today to book your appointment with LabordTherapy.com. In the Lafayette region, there is no one that you will find that cares more about any different type of pain that you might have than the team at LabordTherapy.com. Book today. Once again, that's LABORDE therapy.com, or you can visit one of their 5 locations all throughout the Lafayette region. Alrighty. I'm leaning towards the under here for LSU Ole Miss. I'm honestly going to be on the under in a lot of LSU games this year. Part of it is our own offense, but a lot of it is just our defense, right? Ole Miss has not seen a defense like this. As much as I respect John Summerall and Tulane, come on. And then Ole Miss, of course, the only other Power 4 team they've basically played up to this point in the season is Arkansas. Okay. Now, they did play Kentucky. Kentucky is the worst team in the SEC in my mind. So, outside of Alabama, kidding. Still, Kentucky, to me, is not. I mean, they're the worst SEC team. The quarterback was different, though. Now, Blake Baker has 2 games of film on Trinidad Chambliss, who has really not faced an SEC defense yet. So, I do think we'll be better served in this game. Ole Miss has a lot of transfer receivers. I like the one they brought in from Oklahoma State. He wears number 1. He's not quite gone off yet. Obviously, Caden Lee. Their running back, Kwan Lacey's a good player. I do like this LSU defense in this matchup. And Ole Miss's defense isn't really all that great, but nor is our offense. And if we're on the road, we're going to have a bunch of false start penalties. I am leaning in this game towards the LSU Ole Miss under. Now, my other play over the weekend was Tennessee in the team total getting over 54, and that barely cleared at 56. But they had it by the third quarter, and they just took the foot off the gas. Some other games over the weekend, Georgia, Alabama. I wasn't as high on Georgia going into the season. Looks like I'm wrong. I know to not bet against Kirby. I had Georgia as a 9-3 team with the potential to go 8-4. Looks like I'm wrong. CJ Allen, I liked him a lot going into the season. He is phenomenal. He is phenomenal. What is AYS? Well, I'm on there every Tuesday night. If you want more me and Blake, I'll be on a show Tuesday night at 7:30. Sourdough Man, thank you for your membership. A catch in football and a touchdown catch is also broken. This is where the Oklahoma fans really started to tick me off, and I love them. Like, I'll do a 20-minute breakdown on how good your offense is. And I get emancipation proclamations written in my comment sections about me disagreeing with the Isaiah Satania catch. So there was a catch. If you haven't seen it, Satania bobbled a ball and they gave him the catch. They overturned it. And it's basically the same thing with Barryon Brown. Basically the same thing. And you could do a 15 to 20-minute technical breakdown where now some prominent Oklahoma YouTubers and podcasters share my Oklahoma breakdowns, which I appreciate. Like I always say in the breakdowns, this is not my team. I'm not going to know them as well as you do. Same thing as you're probably not going to know LSU as much as an LSU fan's going to know, right? So that's one thing when you're listening to someone that is not from your fan base, there are pros and cons to it. If Josh Pate were to jump on this channel, he probably doesn't know who Michael Turner is. 755 of you watching this right now, I would say at least 700 of you know who that is. So it's impossible to know like every last little thing about a team or a player unless that is your main team. Now, I guess in theory you can do it. It's just difficult. It really is difficult to know because these rosters are so big and transfers and all of that. But I really pour my heart into Oklahoma breakdowns. You do a 20-minute breakdown, and it's always the one call that you disagree with that Oklahoma fans will turn on you for, and that's any fan base. And that's what bothers me about refereeing is that people say, "Hey, I never make it about the refs," but when you do content about blown calls, your views go up, comments go up, and it hurts me. It hurts me because refereeing is hard. Like, I don't think the Oklahoma blown call on the touchdown, I don't think it's Bush League on Oklahoma's part. Should the referees have gotten it right? Yes. But now, these games matter so damn much that I feel to help the referees, this is so easy to do. Just have quick reviews of really bad calls. Okay? Auburn really got shafted. There were some horrid calls against Auburn. Arkansas really got shafted versus Memphis this past weekend. Two of the worst calls went against them. So should they have lost that game? No. Their offense had a success rate of 50%. They had a ridiculous amount of explosive plays. There was a terrible holding call that went against them. And then there was a clear offensive pass interference call. Why can't we just quickly review that and get it right? It makes no sense to me. And lucky enough for us at LSU, we got no calls versus Clemson. Literally, I would say 4 out of every 5 blown call went in Clemson's favor in that game. Then, of course, we played Florida. We really didn't need bad calls because DJ Lagway was playing for us, basically. So, for me, I struggle with the bad call as a reason why you lost the game, but Auburn has a very strong case for that to be the case. Arkansas has an even bigger case because if Memphis doesn't get either of those calls, they don't lose. But then again, you shouldn't lose. And, Blake was talking about Missouri. Missouri's schedule so soft. They schedule like Indiana schedules. And guess who's everyone's high on right now? Indiana, Missouri. Because they win. Now, we can get into how much it helps playing softer teams to begin the season. Yeah, Chance, I was very perturbed by that missed kick. Very perturbed. Tennessee should have never lost that game. So, I don't know. I was really high. I was really high on Alabama going into the season. I really was. Now, I've not addressed this, but I'll do it very briefly because it is NFL related. Y'all, I really need y'all to support me on Power Hour LSU. Because it used to be, because I do one Saints podcast for Believe. And I record it 2 times a week called Believe in Saints. Check it out. But the Saints and Pelicans aren't my job. LSU football is my job. SEC football is my job. The NFL at large is what I consider my job. But the Saints are my escape. The Pelicans are my escape. And Liverpool is my escape. Liverpool is obviously arguably the best club in world football. But the Pelicans and the Saints are my escape, and we are so ass. Oh my goodness gracious. I want to drink a tub of hot dog water instead of watch those teams play. I couldn't be lower on the Pelicans going into next year. I wish I could feel differently about that, but here we are. And then the Saints. Oh my goodness. And I go back to this, and I'm dead serious. I was getting ready to pay someone to help me make an NBA channel. I love the NBA. But part of why I ended up not doing an NBA channel, as much as I love it in all its glory and how much I hate certain aspects of it, part of why I didn't want to really go all in and do an NBA channel is that it's the Saints ownership. Because the Saints owners are struggling to balance owning a basketball team and a football team. It's really hard. Now, I understand the Cronkies can do it, but it's a different thing. The teams that they own are in different cities. But I am living a nightmare, all right? This channel, Power Hour LSU, what I have built independently, I'm not part of a network. I've not really had any national boosting or anything. It's really been an organic thing. I've not paid for ads or whatever. This is my favorite thing. It really is. This thing right here, I tell you on this Sunday night, this is it. It matters more now because I watched the monstrosity of the Saints. And I'll be honest, it's hard for me to watch it. It's so hard for me to watch it. It's a monstrosity. We know what Spencer Rattler is. I feel like a lot of our guys just don't believe. And there is something I want to address here tonight that I don't think Brian Kelly has. But I see it, and once you see this, it's going to completely ruin how you watch football. Now, I am not a national personality. I don't know if I ever will get to that stage. I've always shared that this is what I want to do. I feel like I could do it as well as anyone could do it. You give me the Paul Feinbaum show tomorrow, I'm not going to be as good as him, but I'm going to try as hard as I can. But this hit me like a ton of, oh my God, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm going to coin a term called the deer in the headlights head coach. And it's a very subjective thing, and you're only privy to the camera angles that are given to you. But sometimes when a camera pans to a coach on the sideline, you can look into their soul and say it's over. Now, it's got to hit you. It might just hit me. This happened a few years ago with Sam Pittman. Obviously, cover Arkansas really closely. My wife's an Arkansas fan. You guys know the whole spiel. And a few years ago, I saw Sam Pittman looked into his soul. It was not the same Sam Pittman in 2021. He looked burnt out, overwhelmed. I saw it earlier today with D'Amico Ryans. Deer in the headlights. They're 0-3. They played a bad Jaguars team, and they lost to them. They shouldn't have lost that game. They have C.J. Stroud at quarterback. They have Nico Collins. One thing I could say about Brian Kelly, it never feels like he has deer in the headlights. Does he make a lot of coaching mistakes? Yes. A little too much for my liking for a college football Hall of Famer. But I don't ever feel he is overmatched in the heat of battle. I felt that way when I saw a clip of Dabo on the sideline this weekend. Y'all, it hits you like a ton of bricks. And I'm not going to lie, I hope I am wrong about this. I feel this way about both of the current coaches of the New Orleans franchises. Now, that is very, very, very unfair to Kellen Moore and only 3 games in. I sure as hell feel that way about Willie Green. And tell me if I'm wrong. Let's see if you could pick up on it. The deer in the headlights head coach. Being a head coach in any sport, it's hard. It's hard. There's different challenges. Whether you watching this right now, you're coaching your 7th grade daughter softball team, to if you're Bill Belichick watching this right now. So I really need y'all's support, because this is the only thing that's bringing me happiness in the world of sports outside of Liverpool. I want the Saints to just be competent. We can't do that. So Go Hard or Go Home disagrees. He says, Carter, there's a few times where Kelly has looked incompetent or lost. Maybe that's me. Maybe that's me not seeing. Maybe it's my LSU colored glasses. But you tell me if I'm just making this up. Deer in the headlights head coaches. I've seen it. It's hard to unsee it. Dude, I addressed this briefly in the post-game live stream. And I know these are burner accounts and people that don't have lives and don't actually want to put their actual faces. Early in PHL, it's not as big of a deal now, but early in my PHL career, I like seeing the actual faces of the people that comment, like Jared and Randy. I like seeing old Randy in the photo. But y'all, these SEC burner accounts are so racist now. They are so racist. There is a Florida burner account that said it was a photo of a cotton field, and it was like, DJ Lagway, get to work. Seriously. Like, this stuff is unacceptable. Like, literally, some of the most vile, racist stuff. Even if it's LSU stuff, we should call it out. And I understand calling it out adds to the algorithm and it boosts whatever. But if you're doing that, don't do it. Like, it's not good. It's not good at all. Like, I couldn't imagine me and Lagway reading that. And I know he's a millionaire, and if he's smart, he could be set for life for the money he's already made. But, dude, it's a cesspool. God, Tell me if I'm wrong, Tyron. It has never been this worse. It's not even like I got called an Indian epitaph yesterday. And I shared this yesterday. Like, I've been called everything. And it mostly doesn't bother me. But, dude, it is so bad. So if you're an LSU account and doing that, please don't. I will say Ole Miss, dude, there have been some nasty ones. And I like Oxford. Go to Roy. He says, watching the Saints game today was rough. I watched the whole thing, but it was a struggle to stay tuned. I don't know how you watch that whole thing. I don't know what's worse, the Saints being bad, but knowing our defense is really being held back from a corner from Alabama. Carvis is high on Michael Turner, but I just wanted to bring it, dude. It's been bothering me, so I'm not gonna lie. Like, I would feel terrible for DJ Langway. Oh yeah, this has been brought up a few times. If the defensive tackle for Southeastern that tore our asses up, if he has any eligibility left, he does not. I saw one prominent Southeastern account say that Proctor, number 2, is out of eligibility. He's good. So yeah, Brett's bringing up the Chad Jones comments from earlier, or I'm just going at older comments. When you have a guest, I don't do as many comments. The Golden Helmet game. Oh, okay. True story on that. So the guy that Chad Jones beheaded in that game was Joe Adams, who is one of the best Arkansas wide receivers of all time and one of the best punt returners I've ever seen. He is on Tyrann Mathieu level of punt return greatness. That's how good he was. And that was a player that Chad Jones beheaded. So I was actually doing a stand-up show in Little Rock and had a joke about Arkansas football sucking. And I had no idea that Joe Adams was in the crowd. It wasn't a big crowd. And he's not a big guy. And I remember telling the joke in Arkansas, it normally lands, and there was one guy just not happy about it. And I had no idea that was Joe Adams, because after the show, there was 2 other comics that took photos with him after the game, and they posted it like, we want to appreciate Joe Adams for being here. And I told an Arkansas legend that Arkansas games are so unbearable. I don't know how people attend them. And I don't know if he took it worse than the Chad Jones hit. I think he actually found a way to keep playing in that game. But yeah, Chad Jones, man. Dude, anytime you could talk about Chad, you got to bring it up. I want to see if I could find the Dexter McCluster clip that we that's out there. So Blake disagreed with me on this. If I'm DJ Langway, so Blake said, I said DJ Langway should call it quits on the season. Red shirt, you might not be fully healthy. You're mentally not there. And Blake said, look, the reps are more important than redshirting a full season. I don't know because obviously I don't think Napier's going to maintain his job. And Langway's a big Napier guy. He has gone to bat for Napier, his parents. He's obviously going to a new school. next year. I don't think with the way that he's playing now that you could even run it back. So I think it just behooves all parties involved to just shut it down. I want to talk a little bit more about Michael Van Buren and his performance here. We're going to do a Michael Van Buren film study that'll probably come out tomorrow at 6. He looked good. Okay. We've already done a Van Buren film study on what he did last year at Mississippi State. I cannot state it enough. His deep ball is very, very, very good. It is very good. There are some balls that he put last year on film that were gorgeous. It's just the thing about quarterbacking that people get wrong all the time is it's such a down-to-down sport. You know, the truly great quarterbacks aren't the ones that make the spectacular throws. It's just dink and dunk, avoid the disasters, don't throw it to the other team, and hit the explosives when they're drawn up. You know, when you see a Drew Brees montage, it's never check down to Pierre Thomas, but that's what a good bit of the Drew Brees era was. So much of it is just that, and that's part of the Van Buren equation. And something else that Blake brought up, and something else that we have brought up in the past. I don't go to the LSU practices. I know people that do, and whether they have pads on or they don't. I was credibly told that Michael Van Buren has had some rough practices in spring and fall, and the media has reported on that some. But some players are game players. And Van Buren's better when the games are actually being played. Sometimes it's like that. This is not an Allen Iverson rant. Yeah, the weird thing about the Kellen Moore thing is you hope it's not a situation where what you see in Miami, where he's a cool coach, but the players don't respect the cool coaches. I think the weirdest thing, go hard or go home, about DJ is that his high school offense and tape was mostly him just running. It was a lot of QB design runs, and it doesn't look like he's got a lot of juice as a runner. He just doesn't. It looks very static and stiff, if you will. He might be trying to be someone that he's not. But honestly, if you're Lagway, how many quarterbacks in the NFL are starters that played at least 5 years of college ball? I've also gotten a few requests to do a film study on Peyton Pop Houston. Oh boy. I don't know if my heart could take it if for some reason he doesn't sign. I do think he will end up signing. And once again, it's even stupid to even predict any kid signing unless it's the month of December. And even in the month of this December, we won't know until the next December. But I will say, he is the best high school quarterback I have watched in a very long time. He really is that good at high school football. Does that translate to college? I don't know. Brandon Harris had good college numbers or high school numbers. And they weren't as good as Peyton Houston's, but still. All right, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'll answer as many as we possibly can. If you super chat, we'll keep it going. One thing I didn't bring up earlier, and I am cheering for him. We don't play him in the schedule, and I totally understood why he left, is Ricky Collins. So he goes to Syracuse. He was their transfer quarterback. They go get Steve Angeli, okay, who has played fantastic for Syracuse. His Achilles is ruptured, and now it is the Ricky Collins show. What do we make of it? Well, I'm cheering for him. I have a few Ricky Collins autographs here in my collection. I would love for him to do well. Ricky still has, I know his youth pastor still watches us. Maybe not as much. But Ricky has some of his friends and family members from Woodlawn that have watched our channel in the past. I have met some of Ricky's coaches in the past. I'm cheering for him. I am cheering for him. And as a quarterback, you're oftentimes in a difficult position because it's a very, you're either playing or you're not type of position. And Ricky goes to Syracuse, and then Syracuse says, look, we need to go get somebody else. That somebody else comes in and he plays really well. And now you got to play. So how's he going to look? Well, Syracuse, of course, has been a fantastic team this year. Fran Brown is probably going to be one of the biggest names in the next coaching cycle, and for good reason. He's been really good at Syracuse. I will be cheering for Ricky Collins. I will always cheer for LSU transfers if they go to schools not in the SEC. I will always cheer for them. Always. No questions asked. Unless you left LSU in a worse place than when you found it. And that's rare. There's only a few recruits I can actually point to and say, this guy really detonated a position group for us. But Ricky, I am cheering for. I don't know Ricky. Never met Ricky. I said what I said about him a minute ago. God, I want him to do well. I really do. Same way I was cheering for Walker Howard. He has a season-ending injury. Al Pierce, don't get me started on Cokie Riley's AP vote. It's wild. The Notre Dame stuff was wild. There have already been some brutal NFL injuries. James Conner out for the year. Joe Burrow out for the year. Life's not fair, man. Life's not fair. Yeah, that was weird. That was a little weird. Now, I don't know if they had a previous relationship with him. I don't know. Yes, I do. Because, he knows the SEC. But I don't think that's a direction they're going to go. I do think John Summerall of Tulane will be coaching in a P4 conference next year. I'm really high on him. Pierce, yeah, I know what you're doing, dude. You're setting me up, bro. And I'm not going to let it happen. I'm just not. I knew exactly where you were going. Oh my God, dude. I know better. I knew better than to put your comment on the screen. And I gave you so our last PHO get together was in West Monroe for a card show. Shout out Jacob Parks. He puts together really good shows. So I had to drive through Ruston to get there. And on the way back through Ruston, dude, this blew my freaking skull. All right. One thing I'm thinking about doing on social media, it's never been done before, is doing pizza reviews. The only food reviewer I've ever seen is Snow Like John. Hold the mayo. Red Bean and Rice Monday. That's the only food review I've ever seen. But no one has ever done a pizza review. And in one bite, I could be the best pizza reviewer on the planet. I would even host pizza festivals. So I kind of want to do that. I love pizza. But there's a pizza establishment called Johnny's. A lot of you are familiar. Johnny's Pizza. I hadn't had Johnny's Pizza since I was a child in New Roads, Louisiana. And why are y'all keeping that from me? Johnny's Pizza is straight fire. So I'm driving back through Ruston. I saw Pierce was malnourished. And I gave him the rest of my Johnny's Pizza. And then he comes on here and says, is there an experienced quarterback we should go after? And he's talking about Eli Holstein. I'm kidding. I knew it was Dave Portnoy, who my wife adores. That's why I said in one bite. I like his pizza reviews. Dude, so D-Pain, here's the funny thing about it. I didn't know. And I know you live in Chicago, but I'm a Giordano's deep dish. That's the best pizza I've ever had in my life. But I've got to say about Eli Holstein, I would be open to it. He is so ridiculously athletic. That was always the thing about him and Zachary. Amazing athlete, just not polished. And boy, I would be open to it. Now, this is, as Boys to Men have once said, the end of the road for this live stream. But you are in good fortune. We take tomorrow off. We will release a video of some sort. And then on Tuesday night at 6 p.m., we'll have another live stream. We did, fortunately enough, hear back from Jacques Doucet as a potential PHL guest. We got to work with this schedule, though. And I know it sounds like he's super busy. It is really hard for a local TV person. And people that do local TV, it's the hardest job. It's the hardest sports media job. No offense to writers or what I do or radio personalities or anything like that. Local TV is hard. So we're working to get Jacques on here because we've had John Eads on here plenty of times. We love John Eads. I don't think anyone's ever done baseball coverage as good as John Eads. He's that good. But we got to get JD on. Got to. My favorite JD. Kidding. Obviously, it's JD5. But I love the other JD. Mark Twain's Pizza? There's a place in Metairie called Mark Twain's Pizza? We got to get Cooper Patagna on the phone. Cooper's already a PHL all-time great guest of 247 Sports. No one knows Metairie better than Cooper. I've never heard of Mark Twain's Pizza. I didn't know Metairie NOLA was a pizza city, but apparently it is. My dream sponsorship is Rotolo's, though. Ask anyone, dude. I am a Rotolo's. I've never had a bad meal at Rotolo's. Never. They're that special. I really do think they are S-tier elite. But then again, I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm more Italian than Blake Ruffino. That's how much I love Italian food. I freaking love Italian food. Dino's Pizza? You just made that up. There's no such thing as a Dino's Pizza. That's like the most pizzeria pizza name. There's a chain called Lido's or Lado's in DC that's really good. Tower of Pizza in Metairie. Here's the problem with pizza is that I think pizza has such a high floor, it's tough to mess up. Like, as much as I love going to get pizza, pizza prices have gone up. I'm telling you right now, you can go to Walmart and get an $8 pizza from a frozen pizza company named Motor City. And it's Detroit-style pizza. Motor City pizza is so good. $35 for a large pizza at Tower of Pizza. If I am getting $35 for a large pizza, there needs to be a lot that comes with it. I better be getting a Joe Burrow rookie ticket auto with my pizza. I better be getting a serenation from Shakira with my pizza. Hips not included. I don't need to see all that. Well, her voice is really good. I would need a lot. But here's the thing. Ask Haley. I don't make a lot of money doing this. I don't mind paying up for a meal. I don't. And like I know some of these places that Dave Portnoy has gone to and done the pizza reviews, and you really go look at the reviews. He likes a certain style. I've watched so many of his pizza reviews. They are really captivating. Especially when the guy like kicked him out. I thought that was so good. But I like deep dish. I like different styles of pizza. I'm not the biggest floppy flat pizza thing, and I know that's his thing. It's just not for me. So true Chicago natives would tell you the deep dish thing is overrated. Go 318 says Johnny's Pizza is a goat. Dude, Johnny's is so good. I was blown away how good it was. Blown away. I will say though that there is one national chain's pizza I just do not care for. There's only one, and it is a very prominent national chain. And I don't want to say why I hate them because I know for certain that they're going to call us saying tomorrow that they're going to buy my channel and sponsor me for the end of eternity. But the funny thing is I love their marketing. So I don't ever, like, it's edible. It's just not for me. And I'll also say the people that love this pizza, they freaking love this pizza. BJ's Pizza? I need Doug Nose in here. Doug is my go-to in Alexandria. Let me text Doug. BJ's Pizza. Because I go through Alexandria. I drive through Alexandria often. I drive through Pineville often. And I have my spots along the way because if I'm driving to Baton Rouge from North Louisiana and I stop at BJ's Pizza, that means I'm also not stopping at Mama's Fried Chicken in Opelousas. And I'm also not stopping to get boudin balls from Billy's. Those are my go-tos on the way to Baton Rouge. They'll never fail me. So if I were to make a special trip to go to BJ's Pizza in Alexandria and Pineville, Cortland, if it's not good, I'm blocking your ass for the end of eternity. Brock, what's good? I am blocking you forever if you're preventing me from getting Billy's boudin instead of or getting pizza. It's wild. Tell him, big dog. It's just not like it's hard. Cortland, but this is a shit I can't stand. And I try to keep my cursing to a minimum. But this pisses me off. You can't, like, Mama's Fried Chicken is elite. It is so elite. Billy's is so elite. It has stood the test of time. It is unique Louisiana flavors. You can't try to convince me to get pizza when there's 1,000 good pizza joints in North Louisiana. You can't just tell me it's good, I promise. No, it needs to knock my freaking face off. And the pizza needs to be so freaking good that Dave Portnoy himself wants to go eat that pizza. That freaking Sebastian Maniscalco, I was just thinking of some famous Italian, would love that pizza. I don't know why I thought him. Are you serious? Now I gotta go to BJ's Pizza in Alexandria. Y'all probably gonna send this to him. And if it wasn't elite, I would have to track Cortland down. Don't know his name. I don't think that's a photo of you there. And find you. I would track you down like Liam Neeson in Taken. And be like, Cortland, you prevented me from getting my normal. I have to choose between Mama's and Billy's. I've been choosing Billy's a little more often. But Mama's is still fire. My mouth is watering thinking about it. I also haven't eaten dinner. But that is crazy to me. Crazy to me. Let me see. I'm going to Google this. BJ's Pizza House. Oh, so there's a few locations. Okay, so we have BJ's. Oh, there's one in Monroe Highway, Ball, Louisiana. That's kind of confusing. A full one, so I'd have to pay $35 for a large. And with tip, $40 for a large. I guess I got to give it a shot. Y'all tell me, would you pay $35 for this? Mighty Meats? I don't know. All right, y'all. That'll do it for me. We will talk to you on Tuesday. Big shout out to our super chatters. Jared gifted out a membership, and big dog coming in hot. Big shout out once again, Fortified Golf. Laporte Therapy Center, and Zion Imaging. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! Tonight we are doing lemon pepper chicken wings. Let's go.